4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey, it's about time. Hey guys, Ryan here bringing on some commentary. This is going to be the first in Group H Ro16. Totally forgot to do this one, as I was way too excited about playing and getting StarCraft 2. So this game is completely forgotten in the abyss of something. And this is going to be between the first set between Hero and ForGG in the round of 16. Group H, of course, Bigfile MSL round of 16 going on. We're going to have ForGG the upper left position as the orange Terran, and the bottom right position as the red Zerg. We have Hero. This is on Polaris Rhapsody, 2-player map. And gotta favor ForGG here. His best matchup. He's been showing a lot of good stuff lately. A lot more like his a lot more like what he showed during his MSL run way back when during the Arena MSL, where he surprised a lot of people by taking out Flash in the semis and taking out Jaedong in the finals, denying us the first ever Jaedong versus Flash finals. They did, of course, happen now, closer to now, but you know, twice in the MSL. Hey, pretty awesome. But yeah, denied us that for a little while. But hey, you know, that stuff happens sometimes. But Hero, meanwhile, this is his worst matchup. He's more of a Zerg versus Protoss specialist, but only at 40% against Terran, and could definitely be in a little bit of trouble. This is a best-of-3 series, also something ForGG, I believe, has more experience with, although Hero did once, I believe, have a fairly decent OSL run up to the semis. I believe that was Hero. Don't quote me on that. I think I might be confusing him with Type B, although I'm pretty sure Hero had a pretty decent OSL run one of those times. You were kind of a lucky OSL run back in the day. But no, that was a one messed up picture of Flash there. But definitely, I don't think Hero's the type of guy who will get too far in a tournament. He has to get lucky and get good with matchups. But in a series, I think he's a little bit weaker compared to some of these guys that are a bit more experienced in the matchup. ForGG going for 1 Rax. Didn't quite spot the refinery coming down. Don't think it did, but ForGG definitely a guy you should be expecting to go for something different. The opposite side, we do see a spawning pool into fast expo. I think it was a 12 pool 11 extractor. I believe that's what he went for. But yeah, this is of course the long distances, so you know, going for any too aggressive moves early on for a Zerg player, not necessarily a good move to go for. But it does look like ForGG just still not getting his refinery, so it does look like he's going to be going for a Medic Marine build. But he's a guy that pulls off mech just out of nowhere sometimes, go for very strange timing attacks. Even if he goes M&M, you should not expect him to play too standard. He's definitely a guy that, known as a timing attacker, he comes up with just a small clump or a big clump, just with an army all of a sudden, and pushes out when you least expect it, and that's really how he gets you. Just not putting down the command center inside his base, actually going to float it off into his natural just to be safe, keeping his scout inside, spotting the lair coming up for Hero. It does look like Hero's planning on going for the 2-base lair build. I'm sorry, 2-base spire build, I'm meaning to say. We're going to see whether he puts down a 3rd hatchery inside of his base or not. And meanwhile, ForGG is just going to hide the command. So actually a good part. Also, of course, partially keeping it safe inside the main. But also the main part is that you hide it. And while you float it off and land, your SCV is going to get in a position and start mining from it. So just to make sure that you hide every little bit of extra information you hide from your opponent is good. All the Overlord's going to float and they're going to spot that command center anyway. So, but ForGG right now doing a great job of keeping the SCV alive. Only a few Zerglings out there trying to follow him up, while he also gets his 2nd barracks going. And I believe he actually killed the 1 Zergling scale and went to try to get up his ramp, but actually was executed before he managed to do so. SCV Scout still sitting in there half about, spotting the Spire, and that is pretty much the optimal. That's how the optimal scouting right there. If you manage to keep your scout inside until you see what kind of tech he goes for, spotting the lair gives you a clue, but spotting the Spire, that is critical. A Zerg player generally not. Zerg players are not really generally known for going for building, then, you know, scout goes away, and then they cancel on you and try to switch up. That can be possible. You can go for that kind of attack, but it is a risky play, and I think that, you know, it would take some time to go for the tech switch, and by that time, even if you manage to catch your opponent off guard, it's really hard to do that against a Terran player for one thing, and also the Terran player will have enough of force to probably fight it back anyway. Because the way a Terran player standardly goes for this, you would be getting Academy, so comms stations in the way, so even if you do switch to Lurkers, it probably would end up failing. Overlord being picked off their Hero, not quite running into safety quick enough with spotting the command center floating off. Gotta say, it feels a little bit weird coming back to StarCraft 1. come back to Brood War after playing some StarCraft 2 for a while. But hey, I'll be posting a review of it soon enough once I decide exactly how I want to set it up and such. You know, maybe I should buy a cigar and be all like, hell, it's a bad team. But I don't know if I want to waste a cigar on that thing. Anyway, yeah, just as I said, bunker at the front, comp stations is coming up, so even if there would be any funky play from Hero, nothing really, don't really expect that. Still don't see Weapons 1 on that eBay right now, just getting his comp stations down. And his front fairly well defended. Zergling's not going to be able to run by that. 4 Marines in that bunker. That's going to be more than enough to gun down a few Zerglings. Meanwhile, now Mutila's coming out there, so should be seeing the turrets on the way right now. Don't see a very large number of them so far, so probably going to be seeing Hero group them up before it's just to go for the action right there. But missile turret near the bunker, near the barracks, so important. Both sides of the barracks. They might fly in between those turrets. Actually, I think those turrets might hit right down the middle as they fly by, but it's so important to keep it close to production buildings. It's going to allow you to support those production buildings, make sure that the Mutalists can't snipe everything that comes out. One turret, barely comes up as the Mutalists flying close to that. Going to back off a little bit and group up. 2 turrets in there. Hope he's putting up more turrets. Now, one mistake the turret player occasionally go for is do not go for turrets behind the mineral lines or close to the mineral lines of their mains, because they're hoping to keep the Mutalists outside. Of course, I do understand that, trying to use the least amount of resources on it, but still better safe than sorry, because Mutalists can do a hell of a lot of damage. Trying to make sure that second turret doesn't come up. Mutalists still facing a lot of medic Marines just waiting for him out there, and soon enough, I think range for those Marines also going to pop in if not already. Mutalists just going to fly over these 2 turrets, taking a heavy amount of damage. Now going to right there. That's what I was talking about. No turrets across those SCVs, but Mutalists still flying around trying to deny. I don't know why actually it doesn't go for any more. Now turrets on the right side actually going to fly off. Third turret going to take even more shot of those Mutalisks. Mutalisks would have been maybe even been a little bit safe trying to pick off a few more SCVs while flying above them. And maybe the Marines would have been able to pick off the Marines a little bit easier, because they would be forced to group themselves in and kind of spread themselves out that they try to get in amongst the SCVs. But yeah, there is a mistake that some turns player made for Hero really not making ForGG paid for it. Didn't really do that much economic damage, just kind of trying to put on some pressure, but actually taking a lot more damage that he would have launched otherwise. Taking a lot of turret fire, medic Marines getting a few shots off them. Finally going to go in there, gonna delay the factory there a little bit, picking off a few SCVs here and there. Finally a turret going to come. That's going to go down though. Medic Marines just now going to run into position, taking shots at those Mutalists, not being microed perfectly, but here taking a lot of fire for those Marines. Mutalists being microed around, but taking a huge amount of fire. No turrets on the left side of the natural, so that's also another vulnerable position. Here not going to make him pick. Going to try to pick down the SCV. Does pick off the SCV building a 3rd barracks, but still taking so much damage on these Mutalisks. ForGG getting more barracks going. He's going to be able to replenish that medic Marine number. Going to start working on the second gas. He's going to get denied. Okay, actually, not going to get denied. But yeah, finally also turret at the main. And medic Marines coming in from the south side. I think ForGG is going to be able to fight this back. Hero doing a good job of keeping his Mutalisk force alive and trying to put on the pressure. Also picking off medics, so important at this point, man. It means that Stim doesn't become quite as useful. Now going to be able to finally abuse this left side of the natural, but SCV is smartly running towards the right side. You can really see ForGG doesn't have that much saturation. He's been producing a lot of units, being produced some turrets, has a lot of turrets inside of his main and natural, but here at the very least, finally trying to get some, managing to get some decent harassment goal. He's lost a lot of mules as he does so, and flying over all those turrets, definitely not going to help him out. 4 turrets just firing like crazy on those Mutalisks in there. But it does look like Hero's just going to live and die by his Mutalisk. Has that lower left-hand base now being picked up. So at the very least, he's utilizing his chance to pick up a 3rd base. Knows that he's holding ForGG inside of his own base. ForGG meanwhile is just going to go for his 4th barracks. Don't really very often see like a line of barracks like that, but kind of supported by turrets there. 1 turret going to go down to his Mutalisk. Going to try to pick at those turrets, almost getting a 2nd one down. ForGG is going to have to go in there and add additional ones that he continue working on this tech. Was delayed a little bit on his tech, so won't be getting his science also quite yet. Going to hope to work on that. Has